in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. Every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
The home of
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, each and everybody. To each and everyone that's on, anyways. But I'll say good morning. Good morning to you out there, wherever you might be today. At this said hour, at this said moment, it might be some other timing in terms of time zone and in your neighborhood. It might be evening, it might be afternoon. But in my spot, in my neck of the woods, it's morning time. And I'll say this is Canada.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
I'm always giving glory to God for the gift of life. Each and every moment I can grace this occasion. I love the aspect of me coming here and being who I am. I always have a tongue twisting moments. Anyways, if you get used to it, you'd understand. Sometimes in every time in the morning, and as we kind of grow older, I'm talking about myself now in plural form. I just want to just be able to acknowledge and accept my reality. My reality being having to be grateful for every moment, every time spent, every moment that I'm here, every time that I can live up to this occasion and grace it. I'm grateful in all ways. I'm grateful in big moments and small moments, in minute circumstances. All those are the things that I look back and I've typically realized that I've been found worthy. I found favor in all my ways. And it's not a coincidence of some sort or like some sort of a certain magical experience or a determined spotlight that is totally my doing. No, it's not. It's a design. It's a protection phase. It's a way of having to being sent on a mission by the Creator and acknowledging there's a Creator, it goes a long way. And I'm blessed. I know that for sure. And I'm not taking that for granted. And I'm not ignoring the obvious. So I give glory to my Creator. I give all the glory to Him. And I thank Him. There's a difference between having to give glory and thanking the person that positioned you where you are. We still strive, and I'm talking about myself, and I mean we still strive to be the best of what my Creator designed. I'm still trying, people. I'm still trying. But anyways, good morning to you out there. If you're just joining us for the very first time, this is Canada. This is Canada as a show that's tailored towards having to have know about things happening in Canada. And when you know that, when you have the opportunity of being abreast of situations happening in Canada, you might just be in the know of things and how to possibly influence those things for the better. We call This Is Canada. And This Is Canada is a flagship from Cradle Radio. We're in the Cradle Radio studios right now, and we're transmitting live on 3 different platforms. It's on Facebook, on YouTube, and we're broadcasting live on Cradle Radio itself. So this is like a 3-legged face. So sometimes when you see that we're about starting the show, we just want to know that all the connections are, synchronized in a way that everybody from different platforms can see us and hear us, and nobody misses a thing. And so sometimes that's why you might just see that the montage takes a little bit of time before coming up, and we just want to equate everything to being on the same timeline, if you know what I mean. So, having said that, we got something that's really gonna be important for anybody that's an immigrant today. Sometimes it's a part of our society, and the information's given out might just be useful for any immigrant who would care to utilize it. You just got to give those guys to some things, right? We cannot take immigration out of a growing society, and so if there are informations that might help, them new immigrants out, we'll probably just, tailor the show towards that. So what we're having today is something that a lot of people might not be aware of, and it's titled Ontario Hits Pause. Express Entry Skilled Trade Stream Suspended. Yeah, they hit pause on that. So if you were a student that has graduated and possibly trying to move into the permanent residence phase of your immigration, you might want to listen to this morning. You might want to have a know about it and get to utilize the information that's coming from this stable. We'll get to the nitty-gritty of that. Yes, I really don't. I'm not a lawyer, so still. You never know, right? You never know. So, I'm not an immigration consultant as well. I just want to bring the minds and awareness of people into what's going on with that suspension in Ontario. So this morning, we're staying in Ontario. We're not going across border into another province. We're in the province of Ontario. And coincidentally, that's where we're headquartered anyway. So why don't we just do the due diligence about this? Now, for people who want to be a part of this show, you need to join our social media handles. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and the whole 9 yards as well. And also, if you have information for us, you might just want to just write to us on info@CradleRadio.com. We'll put that online as well. So you might just get that one handy and utilize it as it went due. If you have any information, any news elements you want us to cover, you could just, get to be a part of us in one way or the other by doing that. It's info@CradleRadio.com. That's where to send your emails to. And while you're doing that, okay, it's going to be on, we're going to put it online now so you see it. info@CradleRadio.com. That's where it is. So you could send in all your inquiries, all your support stream in terms of you might have investigated something that might be beneficial for some people to listen to as well. Who knows? Who knows? It might just help out in different quarters, and you never know what those information might mean to some people in a good way. In a good way. So, welcome aboard. We're looking at this one. Ontario Hits Pause. Express Entry Skilled Trade Stream Suspended. And this one could be a little bit bumpy. It could not sound right for some people. And to other people as well, you might just look at it like, okay, about time. Maybe the province is moving in the right direction as well. Who knows? All right. Now we're diving into a major development in Ontario's immigration landscape. A move affecting skilled workers, employers, and the province's ongoing labor shortages. That's right. They say there's a labor shortage, but what about work shortages, opportunity shortages, and so many more? Sometimes when we look at it, we got to look at it from a blank perspective in terms of being balanced in our sayings as well. Say labor shortages. It makes me want to laugh sometimes, right? But if you care to listen, the Ontario government has suspended its express entry skilled trades stream in an unusual step. Has returned all pending applications to candidates. No approvals, no processing delays, just a full stop. That's right. So what's driving this, and what does it mean for Ontario's workforce? I want to know as well. I really want to know. Ontario says the suspension is temporary and tied to program restructuring. It's temporary. It's not a permanent thing. So that's why I give them some form of what's the best word to use in order not to make them look. Anyways, I give them a thumbs up for that, because it's temporary. It's not a permanent thing for now. All right. The government argues that the application volumes skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. Overwhelming capacity and making the selection process less predictable. We're told they want to modernize and refocus the stream before reopening. And I look at that, and what readily comes in my mind is, what were you thinking before? When you open up a blank check for people to come on in through one medium or the other, studentship, I'll put it. Because all of those people, because sometimes you need to think, right? You got to think. You got to be able to sit down and think. And I'm talking about decision makers now. I'm talking about policy makers and all that. I'm talking about people who will press the green button on decisions. And when you look at all of that, you ask yourselves, were you not thinking about an explosion that might occur before you open a stream that allowed everybody to come on in? It's just my thought process this morning, and the good part about it is that it's more of me just heaving a sigh of relief when I express my thought process towards this. And because we're talking immigration today, I'm not anti-immigration. Don't get me wrong. Listen, man, I was an immigrant myself at one time or the other. I'm not anti-immigration. I'm just saying, decision makers, policy makers need to rethink their decisions before acting and stop acting on impulses. Now, if you bring in, let's say, so number of students into the country who will really pay their fees, and I hear those monies are, astronomically huge. But it's understandable. If you want to come to Canada, you got to pay that fee. But in a way of being balanced, if you collect those monies from anybody, I tell you something that you might not realize, or you might be living in a fictitious landscape of some sort at any point in time, you will realize that there can be there might be, so we'll leave a marginal percentage there for people to understand it. It might just be that some people after studentship, and I noticed that to a certain race, and I applaud them for that. I'm gonna applaud the Chinese for that. When you say so many things, listen, I'm not somebody who's not objective in my reasoning. Anytime, and I've seen this like a lot of times, the Chinese students, when they finish their studies or vocational training, as the case may be, they go back to their country. like a huge percentage of them. Well, if I were to be Chinese as well, I wouldn't forget what anybody tells you. A whole lot of people became millionaires at the back of the Chinese, either by e-commerce or some sort. And some people that you see driving exotic cars got rich. Most of the products that we use right now are from China. So them Chinese students are smart, because once they finish their education and learning about the ways and the wherewithal from the Western world, they go back and implement this into even perfecting it back in China. They perfect it. I go to Alibaba now, and I don't see anybody that's marketing savvy like that platform right now. I don't see. If I got a sort of message from a supplier, for instance, in my other business, right? And I'm not speaking for them in any way. I just appreciate their agility and the way they tend to make consistent communication between buyers and sellers. And when you go there, when you're talking with somebody as well, the person is on flawless English. So at that moment in time, you realize that person must have taken a lot of education or practice around this part of the world and taken it back home. And that communication, there's no lapse in communication. And I know that there are so many softwares now that could even translate, but it's still because of the fact that they needed to bridge that gap. And so what I'm talking about in Nanas is the fact that Chinese students always go back home. Like a huge percentage of them. But that cannot be said about other students as well. And I don't blame other students, right? Because it's totally agreeable that once you spend so much money to come in our country to study, you want to implement what you've learned over time academically into practice in the same country, which is understandable, which is really understandable. So at the end of the day, when you finish work there, definition of work done academically, you want to get a job in there, and you want to integrate in there, and you want to be a part of that society as well, which is totally understandable. Because once you get used to a system in 4 or 5 years of studying, it's part of your system. And the whole essence of a large percentage of all of the students coming into this country is to emigrate. It's not about the study. All right, let's call a spade a spade. So it's understandable for them to, I don't know, what got in my eyes, man. I don't know. But we'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it rolling. You know, so Ontario says the suspension of that program is temporary and tied to a program restructuring. So now back to them students wanting to integrate. It's totally understandable. I totally understand that. I totally understand it, because in a time frame where you've spent probably 100 G's in the span of 4 years, and that's at least a minimum. I'm not a mathematical genius. I'm just assuming or estimating how much they've spent. It's kind of understandable. Let's be fair in our reasoning. I'm not eccentric to the plight of people that just want a better life. It's understandable, you know. So, and my thing is, with this statement coming from the Ontario government now, and when I say Ontario government, because this is not an Ontario problem, it is more of a federal problem. So, when it becomes a federal problem, it is a federal problem, because it's the federal government that's saying, oh, come on in, this and that and that. But Ontario is benefiting from that as well. And benefiting from that, was there nobody that could call the attention of policymakers and decision makers to order to say, listen, we're having more than we can chew. Stop thinking about how much them schools gonna earn. Then you bring in all those people, everybody. who came in here with their hard-earned money, their life savings sometimes, with the promise of a better life, a continuous better life. And while that is on, at a point where they need to apply for or a permanent sustainability process that would allow them to fully integrate and possibly be naturalized, to naturalize, we might just look at it and say, oh, are they really thinking of being eventual Canadians? Oh yeah, that's a whole 9 yards. That's a whole package. And that's true. That's a pathway to getting into it. That's why they got into it. So, I haven't answered your question, and you look at it and you ask, a person that's already believe that their pathway into integrating into a system that they've spent time, energy, and monies into legally could just be halted just like that. What I'm talking about today, if you just joining in, is Ontario Hidden Post having to suspend the express entry skilled trade stream. That's what we're looking at this morning. That's what we're looking at.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
You see, but the move has left thousands of skilled trades hopefuls in a limbo. These are welders, plumbers, electricians, construction framers, many that are already working in Ontario, contributing to the economy and waiting for a pathway to permanent residency. Now, another thing that I noticed in this is when you see a lot of people having placards and signboards and all that protesting about decisions which the province has taken, you kind of see that that complaint of some sort is tailored towards a particular sector. Now look at what I just had, like at hand right now. It says welders. What's that other one? Electricians, construction framers. Everything is about the construction industry, the housing industry. It's all tailored towards that. Have we ever thought about, and I'm just thinking off script now, and I'm saying, have we ever thought about the fact that we might just have nuclear physicists in that pool? Because we're always thinking about the work that other people don't work. Probably don't want. Like, I know welders make a lot of money. I know all those construction framers make a lot of money and all that. But how come it's only tailored towards that sector? What about other sectors? Because if that's off the top of my head is what the reason being for the suspension, and I know that's not the reason, because it's said that they really want to redesign that program because there have been cases of fraud, and we're going to get to that in a minute. And having to look at all of that, having to think about all of that, you ask yourself, are you saying the pathway is for us tailored towards a certain set of people alone? I don't think so. But when write-ups come around with those welders, construction framers, electricians, it's still about housing. It's still about housing. But anyways, that's what we have on ground. It's been written. Now, instead, their applications will be refunded or cancel, forcing many to restart their journeys in a different immigration stream or wait indefinitely. And many are already working in Ontario, contributing to the economy and waiting for the pathway to permanent residency. All right, this is how it works. Like stages in naturalizing to be a Canadian. First, you got to come in through one stream or the other. It's either you come in with your permanent residency, highly skilled people coming through the permanent residency. I know that for sure. That's how I got into Canada anyway. So, some people come through studentship. And this is how people go to schools, universities, colleges, and all that to get in. You know, pay a huge sum of money for that. Huge sums of money. Yeah, that's right. And then after paying that, you know, they stay a couple of years, and those years might be tough. It all depends on from where you coming from, anyways. For some, it's enjoyable. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a time of their lives. So after that, you apply for, and I'm not an immigration consultant, so don't fact check me about this one. I'm just telling you how a process that I went through just played out. I got into Canada as a landed immigrant. Being a landed immigrant, you have a permanent residence right from the get-go. And that's having to stay 9 years outside before even getting that. So it's not a case of express entry. I didn't come in through express entry. I didn't even know what express entry was at that moment in time. I'm talking about obligation was done decades ago. I'm not saying a decade, I'm saying decades ago. So, when you look at it now, when you look at the process, they got express entry, they got this and that. What happens to that guy or that lady that already submitted? And the province is saying, we're going to refund your money. And what I don't know is, are they going through the province? Is it like a PAC system where the province needs to authorize this? That could be another streamway as well. Well, there's so many things aside having to reason the reason for what happened or the decision that was taken. There are so many cases for the suspension as well. And I'll say, supporters of Ontario's decision say the program needed recalibration. They argue that demand was outpacing the province's annual nomination limits. Okay, so we're getting a clear picture into this. So it's like a nominee program, right? Processing delays were piling up. That's for sure. When you have a population explosion, employers were losing confidence in timeliness. I'll hold my breath for that. Because when you say employers were losing confidence, employers. All right, we'll move on with that one. It's going to be a discussion for another day. A reset could create a more transparent, fair, and manageable system. Now, from this point of view or viewpoint, a suspension is a chance to rebuild the stream so it better matches Ontario's labor market priorities. What is Ontario's labor market? That's a question that needs to be asked. Ontario's labor market could be defined as a market that allows you to look for a force or labor force that could possibly enhance the labor market. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm trying to define it. But when you say Ontario's labor market, we matches Ontario's labor market priorities. Priorities is that we want people that can cater for that form of business that they're applying for. I seen people who were qualified accountants having to come to some of my establishments looking for work. And I'm saying that business of mine or some of those businesses were not tailored or catering for people with such expertise. So when they say labor market priorities, I'm laughing, I'm chuckling in the back of my mind. Laughing and chuckling. But that's the case for the suspension, but there is a case against the suspension as well. Because some critics have said the timing couldn't be worse. Ontario is facing one of the largest, and I'm talking about the province of Ontario. I'm not looking at it from a unified aspect of the federal unit. I'm talking about a provincial unit now. Now, when we started the show, I said, we're looking at Ontario this morning. Will my province shift base and go to another province next week to look at what their process is like? Who knows? But Ontario is facing one of the largest skilled trade shortages in decades. Decades. No, in a decade, but decades. Tens of thousands of vacancies in construction, manufacturing, and industrial maintenance. These are the very roles needed to build homes, support infrastructure, and keep the economy moving. And this is where I get a little personal about this at this moment in time, because every time you keep talking about one sector, building construction, that's all you're talking about. And that's not what makes a society move. That's not what makes a province move. That's not what makes a country move. You keep talking about buildings and construction, and that's why we're still at a deficit. And that's why the Canadian dollar is falling. Because you seem to only be tailored into one spot. The economy is not buoyant. No, it's not. It's not. You just like a vector quantity in physics, if you know what I mean. Magnitude with no direction. Yeah, of course I'm a science student. It is crazy. It is crazy. Everything you're looking at is just one sector. Who's gonna buy those homes? Who's gonna fit into those buildings? Who's gonna be in those offices? No, you're getting it wrong. And I'm gonna continue about the case against. Opponents argue that cutting off a key immigration pathway undermines labor force growth. Returning applications waste months, sometimes years of planning for workers. It sends a message of unpredictability that could push skilled tradespeople to other provinces or the countries. Now, I love that aspect of it, because yesterday I was flipping through the news like I normally do. And while flipping through this news, I saw that, what did it say? I'm going to look at it, and I'll run it through you real quick. Hopefully we have time for that, all right? And it says, and this is coming from one of the mainstream news outlets, which says, Canada's highly skilled immigrants are leaving the fastest. The fastest. That's what he says. And he says, at a time when Canada is defending itself in a trade war with the Wild Wild West, a new report casts doubt on whether the nation's immigration policy is able to retain the global talent required to bolster the economy on the home front. But our thought process, which is totally wrong, is going towards or tailored towards a sector. One sector out of many. When you say highly skilled, it's not construction that we're talking about. Highly skilled is different from medium skilled. Let's get that right, people. Let's get it right. Highly skilled. Highly skilled are people that champions innovations. Anyways, we're gonna get to this, some other time. Just we needed to borrow that in my line of thoughts. And for employers already desperate for talent, this is one more setback. And I've seen so many people who just come into different establishments that are not even tailored to being in those establishments. That's right. To be a part of this, join our social media handles in all major platforms. We're there. We are Cradle Radio on every platform. Cradle Radio. And as we're beaming live to you, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, we're broadcasting live from the Cradle Studios on Cradle Radio as well. So if you feel like you don't have enough time to sit and watch the videos, you can listen to the audio version that is running right now live on Cradle Radio. That's right. You could be there and listen up. And also you could comment. You could have your own say being heard on most of the topics that we talk about on a daily. So all you got to do is join our social media handles, and in those platforms that you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel and all that, and you'll be able to be a part of this on a daily from Mondays through Thursday, from the hours of 9 to 11. The talk aspect of the show comes around from 10 to 11, Mondays through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I think I got that one covered. I think I did cover it real good. All right. Ontario hits pause. Express entry skilled trade stream suspended. And when I saw this, it was more like, here we go again. We tend to talk about policies. We tend to effect changes in policies, but we're not looking at it. If you play Sudoku real good, you probably would understand what I meant. We're not looking at that bigger picture. We're not looking at that bigger picture. The people you have already on the ground, are you utilizing them in the best way that could make this country grow forward? My Canada, to get it to a place where it should be in the League of Nations. That's just my thought process.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
The home of all things Africa.
All of this and a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff, right? Is having some advocacy groups saying the decision creates unnecessary anxiety for workers who are already integrated into Ontario communities. Oh my mind. Yeah, now what's next? The Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program says the stream will reopen after program updates are completed. There is no timeline yet on that one. And in the meantime, Cyril Strait's candidate may have to look towards other pathways, such as the federal express entry route, employers-sponsored streams, or provincial programs in other provinces with more predictable processing. Ontario, for its part, insists the long-term improvement will outweigh short-term disruptions. So, bold correction or disruptive setback. That's what my thought in terms of what we're having today is going to be concluded with. Like much in immigration policy, it depends on who you ask, though. It all depends on who you're asking. What's clear is this: Ontario's labor needs aren't shrinking anytime soon, and the province's next move will matter, not just to workers and families, but to every sector, dependent on skilled trades to keep Canada's largest economy running. Yeah, that's right. This is Canada, people, on Cradle Radio. Stay with us for more stories shaping our nation, people. Don't go nowhere. Stay with me.
Wake Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
It's always a jolly good ride in the morning, especially when we have a lot to say as it affects our nation, as it affects my Canada, as it affects this beautiful nation that I call home. I really want to have the best and the best of things having to come to this place. Canada's a beautiful place, no doubt. It's a lovely country. It's my Canada. Hopefully you can say that as well as regards yours as well. And in this day and age where everybody seems to look at us and think, oh, we're nice or we're weak or otherwise. That's one of the reasons why some guy from India who's a fugitive wanted to come into Canada. Like, okay, this is where I can escape into. Thankfully, the border agencies and the Wild Wild West caught him before he snuck into the country. And my saying, as usual and always, will be, if you want people to take you serious, you better start acting serious. This is not a dumping ground for people. It's not a place where people just, want to just glide into. And that's why nations look at us, and when they look at us like, oh, yeah, Canada. Whereas people should look and go like, oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. You know that. I just want to see the best coming out of this system of ours, this beautiful country of ours, a place where everybody can look at us and, just have a feel of, now those people know what they're doing. It's not a case of flip-flopping, going here and there, having to dance around in circles, having to do things that would not allow for the League of Nations to even consider you as being a serious nation. Consistency is the key. And knowing and playing ahead of time is also something that is really important in everything we do. I love that aspect where people can sit down and just say, look, this is what we're going to do and this is what we're doing. When people can look and say, no, we're not taking this and we're not taking it. And where people can also consider and say, oh, we humans too. We can reconsider on certain qualities or options that we have already taken actions as regards. My name is Akinloye. We'll do same tomorrow morning from the hours of 10 to 11 in the morning on This is Canada from Cradle Radio. Don't forget, regular transmission starts, resumes, not starts, it's part of transmission. Regular transmission resumes on Cradle Radio, 24-hour cycle, and you would love it. Just tune in there, and you wouldn't regret it. It's always been a pleasure. I love doing this. It's been doing it for 30 years, almost 30 years, actually. It's a few months' time. It's going to be 30 years. And we won't stop now. And obviously, to lead our spot, to lead our nation into that greatness that it deserves. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Stay safe and be good.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.